Alright guys, so here we have the Vapor from Element case for the iPhone 4. And usually I take the case out of the box and then put it on the iPhone, but this time I already have the case on the iPhone right now. And I'm going to show you all the accessibility and the whole, the openings and that type of thing, and then I'll take the case off to show you what that looks like by itself. So let's just start off with this. So guys, this case is beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. I would dare to say this is probably one of the nicest looking cases I've seen for the iPhone 4. It's machined from a solid piece of aluminum, so it's, Apple users, they love aluminum, of course, because like all Apple products are made of aluminum now. But the details to this case are exquisite. I'm using big words here, but it's beautiful. It's really gorgeous looking case, and it's very precisely carved. You can see there that every single angle is. It's just a really sharp looking case. Now the version I have here is with the carbon fiber backing. And so basically this case is like a bumper style case, if you will. There's a frame, there's two pieces here that come together. And so, this is one piece and this is one piece, and then they're basically held together by these little screws right here. And so I'll remove those in a second to show you, the two pieces separated. But I just wanted to show you on the phone right now. So first off, guys, I'll go out and say this is probably one of my top 5 favorite cases. It's an awesome, awesome case. I definitely got a lot of attention from people that noticed me using this case. When you review tons of plastic, TPU style cases, they're all the same type of deal. They're slider cases, they're snap to the back cases, But this case is definitely something that's, it's definitely fresh and innovative. And I haven't seen any other cases similar to this before. I've reviewed Elements cases before with the iPhone 3G and 3GS, and those cases were awesome. So they definitely stepped it up with this case. And I'll be quite honest with you guys, before I actually started using this case, I wasn't a big fan of it at all. I just thought it was I don't like bumper style cases to begin with. I hate that style case because there's no back protection. But the fact that they offer this with the carbon fiber back, it kind of won me over. And after using it for a while, it's really, really nice. It really fits well in the hand. It feels like a solid case. And I guess because of the way it's attached to it, you probably used cases before. That's a little fingerprints there. You've used cases where it feels like there's some play in it, like it's not exactly snug to it. But this case actually feels like it's part of the phone. And there were nights, it's kind of funny, there were nights when this phone was on my side of the bed, and I'll go to reach for my phone to see, like, if I get an email, a text message, or whatever in the middle of the night, to grab it. And I actually thought that there wasn't a case on the phone, just because it's so solid and it feels like it's part of the phone. So really well designed. So like I said, guys, I started out by saying this is probably one of my top 5 favorite cases, but there are definitely 2 very big things that I feel need to be improved on this case, and we'll get to those in just a second. But first off, let's go ahead and let me show you the accessibility as far as the openings and the ports and that type of thing. So one big problem that some of you guys may face is that the hole for the headphone plug is actually kind of deep in there, and it's really narrow and recessed. So for those of you that use headphones that are made for the iPhone, for example, like the Apple headphones with that real skinny plug, they'll fit in there just fine. That's going to go in there, no problem whatsoever. But let's say you want a pair of headphones that aren't specifically made for the iPhone, like maybe a pair of Shores or, I don't know, Sennheisers or whatever. And if it's like a larger plug like this, that's definitely not going to fit in that port. So not all your headphones are going to fit in there. So that is one thing to keep in mind. One thing I do really love is this button right here. It's an aluminum button that's actually covering up the standby switch. But it still has that click to it. So when you touch it, you can still feel that click in there, which is really cool. So I really like that a lot, and it's actually like a nice little highlight right there. It has this big opening right here. I'm not sure why exactly that huge opening is there. I know the secondary microphone right there needs to be exposed, and you can see the antenna line right there, which gives it some area as well. But I'm not sure why it extends out so far. I really don't know. But either way, it's not that big of an opening, so it's not a super big issue or anything at all. Get to the side here. It's perfectly cut on the side for the silent switch and the volume buttons right here. Easy to get to. A nice big opening. No problems whatsoever. Get to the bottom. And here's one of the negatives of the case. So this port right here is really narrow. It's not very wide at all. I wish it was just slightly wider, or maybe if it had like some subtle cutaways to where these could stay, like maybe this piece right here would stay thin, but like when it gets to this part it would widen up a little bit, because most of my plugs or my 30-pin connectors will not fit into this case. Which is kind of a bummer, because like in my vehicle I have hooked up to my radio is a 30-pin plug, and it's like a really big plug, and that I couldn't even use my radio for about a week or 2 while I was testing this case. So the only plugs I've been noticing that fit this are the ones that are the exact size of the Apple ones, and I can show you an example right here. So when you have this kind of plug, the really skinny narrow ones, actually this doesn't even fit it as well. This is almost the size of the Apple plug. It's just a little bit, let me see here, it's a little bit taller. and even this will not fit in here. I forgot about this plug. But the Apple, the one that comes with the Apple 30-pin connector, those all fit fine. So, you know, for me, I have a couple of those laying around the house, which is fine. But I also have tons of other 30-pin connectors, like the really long one by the side of my bed, that will not fit in this. So that was kind of a bummer. I wish the opening was just a little bit bigger, okay? Everything else is fine. Speaker, microphone, no problems there. And, oh yes, can't forget this other side too. So it does have a SIM tray. I believe the original version of this didn't have a cutaway. I'll probably never take the SIM card out of my phone, so this isn't a big issue with me. I kind of feel I wish it was just covered up, but I'm sure there's some people out there that do swap out their SIMs, maybe in other countries where they have to do that regularly. So that's, you know, now it's accessible. Get to the back here, the carbon fiber cover. This is an adhesive sticker, basically, like a really thick plastic adhesive sticker that goes to the back of this. And so while it's on there, there's no problem, no issues with the camera at all. There's a nice cutaway for that. When you get to the front, home button is not being covered up at all. The whole face of it is basically exposed, and there is a slight lip that is on the case. Let me show you here. So I don't know if I would say if it's lay on the table design, you could lay it face down and be fine, but there is a slight lip on there, not by much though. So one thing to keep in mind. Overall, it fits it really well. Like I said, it's real snug and nice. Now the back plate, I kind of wish that it wasn't adhesive. I almost wish that the back plate was part of the case, just because if I want to take this back plate off and switch out my case and then I want to come back to it, well, you know, after a while, this back piece is probably going to not be as sticky. It might get a little dusty or dirty, and so just some issues that I'd rather not have to deal with, but some things you might have to contend with. So before I take the case off of the phone and show you the parts and stuff, let's go ahead and talk about the second negative thing that I would like to see changed, if it's even possible, is reception. I had a lot of reception problems with this case. Now, not so much necessarily for 3G, although I did notice that my 3G connection was a little bit lower. But the biggest issue I found with this was with Wi-Fi. And a perfect example of this is at my job, I have a corner office. I'm probably the furthest person away from the Wi-Fi in my office building. And usually I only get 1, maybe 2 bars. With this case on my phone, I don't have any Wi-Fi. It will not let me connect to it. I mean, if I took a couple steps closer towards the router, it would kick up maybe 1 or 2 bars. But normally, in the normal spot, I always stick this by my desk. Half the time, not even half the time, most of the time, it was always on 3G because it wouldn't connect to Wi-Fi. So I do know for a fact that this case is causing some kind of interference with Wi-Fi at least. 3G, I did notice, like I said, maybe a bar or 2 lower than usual. And depending on the area that you live, that may be a big problem. You may have some problems with that. For me, I'm in San Antonio, so I have awesome signal here most of the time. So for me, it wasn't really a big issue as far as when I was just using it normally, making phone calls, that type of thing. Some people did mention though that when I was talking on this, using this case, when I was talking on it, or talking on my iPhone while I was in this case, that my voice quality was a little bit lower as well. I'm not sure if that's because it's aluminum or maybe it is a reception issue. I really don't know, but I know some people did make mention of that. So some things to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and show you the box that this comes in. Let's pop it out and just show you the different pieces. And I'll take off the case. I'll probably speed it up because I don't want you guys to stare at me watching me taking out the screws. So this piece slides right here. The carbon fiber piece sticks to this piece right here. So when you remove it, you can stick it back on here, pop it back in your box, and save it for whenever you want to reuse it again. It does come with 2 extra screws right here, and it does have an Allen wrench. So at first, I was really kind of annoyed by the Allen wrench because if I want to swap out my case, I have to have a tool with me at all times. You know, it's for some people that may be really annoying. For me, at first it was, but at the same time, I kind of thought, well, I could just keep this in my car, and if I really need to take it out of the case, it's not that big of an issue. So now I'm going to take out the screws, guys. I'll do a little fast forward, and we'll jump to after the screws are out, and I'll show you the actual pieces off of the phone. Okay, so let's jump over to that now. Okay guys, so I've taken the screws off the case here, and so basically this piece just pops right off right there, and you can see the 4 screws, get a little Allen wrench, put that to the side, and so then you kind of just like slide this off as well, and you gotta be careful because it might scratch up the sides of the iPhone a little bit. And so actually guys, this is the first time I've taken off this case since using it. I don't want to take it off, and so for the most part, it didn't scratch up the sides or anything while while I slid that piece on there. No damage or anything. I mean, the iPhone has aluminum edges, so it's pretty tough. And yeah, really good. So after taking it off, and you can see the sticker here, the carbon fiber sticker. It's really thick. It's probably about 1 millimeter thick or so. You need to be super precise when you place this on this tool. I might even say you might want to put the carbon fiber sticker part on there after you apply the case to it, because it has to line up exactly perfectly. But once it lines up just right, it looks like it's part of the case. So there's that right there. And let me show you the insides of here. So this is this is really lightweight aluminum, and this doesn't add too much bulk at all to the iPhone while it's on there. And so as you can see in the side that we have a couple rubber rails. I'm sorry, let me try to be in focus here. So you see in a few key parts there's these pieces of rubber right here, like foam. I think I would say foam, not rubber, to kind of protect the iPhone from getting scratched up or rubbing against the aluminum. I kind of wish it was along the whole edge of it though. It would be kind of nice. But I did notice that where the antenna usually rests, there's a groove right there, but there's no actual piece of foam. So maybe if there was a piece of foam on this, maybe that would help some of the reception. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not going to talk like I know the technical aspects of that, but I'm just thinking out loud here. So as you can see, there's another corner piece right there. And that's pretty much it. So this is the piece that goes to that one side, and then you have the blue piece right here, which also has the foam in the corners right there. So right there and right there. So, like I said, I wish maybe foam could have been around the whole edge, just in case you don't want to scratch up the sides of the iPhone at all. Especially if the type of person that is constantly taking your case off of your phone. And like I already, like I mentioned earlier, the screws holding this together, so you're gonna have to take the screws out every time you want to swap out of the case, which is why I haven't swapped mine out yet. So that's pretty much it, guys. So overall, even despite its issues with reception and with the 30-pin connector, I absolutely love this case. There are negatives to every case out there, but I just think this case really stands out from a crowd. It's available in 9 different colors, so there's different combinations of the larger piece in the side rails here. This is the blue and silver one. So there's lots of different versions. Now keep in mind, this case the retails for $80, so it is definitely not a cheap case. But I'll leave that up to you guys to decide whether or not it's worth the money. And it's, like I said, this is made of aluminum. They actually say one solid block of aluminum. I'm not sure if that's how true that is or not, but that's what they say on the website. And overall, it's a really awesome looking case. So if you can contend with some of those Wi-Fi issues that I kind of experienced, and maybe for your 3G is pretty good in your area, so maybe that you won't have any reception problems like that. But those are just some things to keep in mind. As long as you have an extra Apple 30-pin connector with you, you won't have to deal too much with having to mess with the bottom port being kind of small. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. If you actually personally own this product yourself, why don't you tell me what you think about it? How has your experience been with your Vapor case for your iPhone 4? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. So post a comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.